Glen Mansel.
Welcome to CFNB. This little bit of film is dedicated especially to you. In a minute we're going into the studio to follow up on you, and we're going to watch you from one end to the other, and also all those girls you have in the studio as well. In fact, we may even take the girls in first as we go in there. So in the years to come, when you've got nothing else to do, you can sit down and say, that was CFNB. You ready?
It's in here. Have they got a microphone running as well, Roger?
Oh yes.
How embarrassing. Oh dear. What am I supposed to do now? Can I carry on and play a record, or have I got to smile for the television cameras? I'll keep talking. I'll keep talking. He's giving me signs, you see, that I should keep talking. I'll tell you what we could do, actually, if I can find it. I'll give the CFNB weather forecast. Will that do? The CFNB weather forecast for today is increasing clouds spreading into the area from the west. Temporary rain or drizzle this afternoon. The wind's moderate southwesterly, and the expected high for today is plus 7 degrees Celsius, and the outlook for tonight is cloudy to overcast with temporary rain or drizzle and a minimum temperature of plus 6 degrees Celsius. Hello, Phil, Julie and Debbie, thank you very, very much indeed for that dedication. It's much appreciated. Yes, I presume, like a bad penny, I will turn up in your path again soon. Hope so anyway. It's 27 minutes away from 3. Roger B at 3:30 this afternoon, and serves you right. This is Love Unlimited, featuring a gentleman called Webster Lewis, and it's called Welcome Aboard. Roger B, how did you manage that?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. That's how you can see it, Glen. That's how it is. Now we're going to show you the other side of the Glen Mansel show, the women.
Oh, hello, yo. Which number? Okay. Got it. Bye-bye.
I've never seen the studio before. Lines for the People's Choice are still open on 045262132. 05 and 40, 26, 21, 32, and they'll be open for another 8 minutes or so. 1:45 they'll be closing, because that's when we'll be announcing the People's Choice tip to the top on CFNB for this week. Away from 3.
Come on, come on, tell me kiss. And the rest of you.
You'll get me into serious trouble. I'll never forgive you. Where is he? Is he gone? Oh no. That's the sound of the Time Bandits there, and it goes out especially to Sandra and everybody at CFNB. Happy New Year, it says, and that comes from Andre. CFNB, it's 19 minutes away from 3 o'clock right now. Well, I don't know about the Super DJ bit or what. I'm going to be a television star by the looks of it. And it goes, this one goes out to Carl, to Monique, Vim, Joe, Monique, John, Margot, John, Mena, Sella, Ron, Hetty, Tilly, Grace, Ricky, Cindy, Michelle, Madeline, Rob, Diana, Hugh Kronbach, and to Yolanda, Stanley, Ingrid, and especially to Andre Hofflin, and to Glen, with many, many kisses. That comes from Astrid, in fact. Thank you very much indeed, Astrid, and she asked for a little bit of Kool and the Gang, and something called Take My Heart, which is right now for you. Kool and the Gang, Take My Heart.
Has there ever come a time when you feel real nice?
No, I suppose you want me to say something about Glen Mansel. I've known the guy now for about 2 years or so, and I can't say any more than that. No, actually, to say a lot about Glen, I could carry on for hours and hours about Glen. I've had a lot of admiration for Glen over a long. I must say, he's taught me a lot about radio. I'm more of a disco man myself, and Glen, yes, you're right. Glen has given me a lot of tips as far as radio goes, and I must say, I'm very pleased to have met him over the last 2 years, and I hope that in the future we'll remain good friends. That's all I can think of to say now. But if I think of something derogatory later on, please let me come in again, won't you?
Many kisses from Astrid. Thank you very much indeed. Right, there's a dedication here. It goes out to my sister Carolyn for her 17th birthday on Wednesday. That comes from Marie Jose. Well, Marie Jose. No, Sister Carolyn, isn't it? A very happy birthday to you for Wednesday, and don't drink too much, will you? And the record you asked for, in fact, is this one, which is number 1 on CFNB this week. It's all Diana, and I'll tell you what, the CFNB tip to the top is going to be coming up in about 2 minutes' time or so. Stand by for that to find out who's the winner. Hang on, wait a minute, because I won't...
You never said that before. Never used to say that, did you?
Why do fools fall in love? Some sort of tax dodge, I'm led to believe. That goes out to my sister Caroline for her 17th birthday on Wednesday from Marie Jose. Happy birthday from all of us here at CFNB, especially me, Glen Mansel. Right, we're a little bit late, which isn't surprising if you could see what's going on in the studio at the moment. 12 minutes away from 3 o'clock, time to find out what is the brand new.
All the DJs say this one's on its way.
Hey, it is Lakeside, isn't it? Yeah.
It's the thing of the pops.
Desiree, Jeffrey, Chantel, Jos, Robert, Roger, Yolanda, Stanley, Marita, Anya, Ellie, Gabby, Gaston, Gerda, Lillian, Nicole and Jos. That comes from Liana and Maureen. That's Push. And
For the very last show, the very last Glen Mansel show on CFNB.
Get the camera up his
Stand
nose.
by,
Up his nose, get the camera up his nose.
Roger B, behave yourself. We're going to be proper now. We're going up to the news, in fact. CFNB on a Saturday afternoon. The time is fast approaching 3 o'clock. And of course that means news time on 103.4 and time to go across to the studios of LAR for the 3 o'clock news.
Ingrid, well, there's one thing of course about Mr. Mansell you can say, and that is you can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you most definitely can pick Glen Mansell's nose together. It's always good fun.
That was in bad taste.
Oh, that's awful. Yes, I know. Yeah.
Tastes awful.
I've had fun with me as well for the last 2 years. Oh, sad. So I should be back on your radio tomorrow morning from 10 o'clock, but always on the Sunday, or as it should be, never again on the Sunday. Till then, look after yourself and God bless you.
if you're out and about in the front of tonight, take care and don't meet me. If you do meet me, just ignore me. Till we meet again, look after yourselves and God bless. Bye-bye. 3:30. And for the very last time, I shall introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, Roger B. Who was miles away at the time, I can assure you. Ah.
Hello.
You're looking for a pair of headphones?
Oh, I got a headset. Yeah, it's the television crew. Got him up. Good afternoon.
Shall I push them up?
Go on then.
All right then.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, nice to be here again. Yes, yes.
What's going to happen to the fiasco now, John?
Well, I've decided to change everything, you know. Yeah, it's going to be classical music now on Saturday afternoons.
Instead of something like 2, yeah.
Dead right. I'll sort this Roger B out. Do you know, it's going to be the first time that people are actually going to look forward to Roger B after my show.
Yeah.
I'm not saying a word, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to have to ask my lawyer.
It's true, it's true.
Have a very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to the Roger B show with Glen Mansel. Oh, no?
No!
I don't get another go?
4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Go and have a rest. Go and have a rest. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Well, I'm glad to be back. He's coming back at 4 o'clock, we hope. He's gone. He's all just like that, he's walked out. Come back at 4 o'clock, and I got to get back in the studio. Chalky, say something on this mic.
Yes,
please.
all right. Roger, it's nice to see you along here. Can you...
Actually.
Yes.
I'm really, this is not nice. One of those things.
And you know, everything I said on this tape about Glen earlier on was all lies. Really, I've been waiting for this moment for 2 years.
Come on, say something.
2 years I've been waiting for this. Really, I thought I'd never see the end of Glen Mansell, and the time has arrived. It's arrived. It's wonderful. I feel so good.
Oh, I wouldn't like to hurt his feelings, you know, but I know what you mean.
He's not listening.
He's not listening.
You say what you like.
Oh, really? Right.
Run the new merry-go-go-round.
Glen Mansell. sentimental song, sentimental memories, but for me, and I'm the sentimental of them all. Yes, we'll try that one later. Here he comes. I'm going to ask him some nasty old questions, so I hope he'll...
Oh dear.
He's put me off already. Do you know, sometimes in life you have some nerve-wracking times, and I think this is one of mine. So that's the sick tune we've been listening to on a Saturday afternoon for the last 2 years, and I'm going to ask him to start off with Glen Mansel. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Roger B.
Is that your real name?
Yeah, that is the name I was christened with.
And they call you other names, I know, but...
Not mentionable on the radio,
Yeah,
I don't
yes.
think.
Right. Tell me, to start off with, how old are you?
How old am I? I was born in May of 1956.
Oh, jolly good.
So you work it out.
Yes.
25 years old.
25. And when did this thing called broadcasting start with you?
Oh, heavens, Roger. 1973.
What was the first thing you said on the radio?
Good evening, presumably. I don't really remember. In fact, my mother has still got a tape of one of the very first shows I ever did on a very small radio station, a rediffusion radio station. For people who don't know what that is, it's a radio station that doesn't actually broadcast through the air. It works with wires. She still has a tape of one of my first shows, and she will not part with it for love nor money. I've tried to bribe her into giving it to me because it is absolutely terrible. You wouldn't believe how bad it is, and I want to sort of destroy it, but no, she won't give it to me.
Yes, this interview's been recorded at the moment, by the way.
I'm sorry, Mum.
See, we ought to show Mum the film one of these days, actually. Just to explain what's going on in the studio, we do have a video camera here this afternoon, and all the major events of the afternoon are going on. And,
like me walking out of the studio.
yeah, well, that was something...
I'm sorry. I wouldn't have done it had Chalky not been here, but you could obviously manage between you and Chalky, so I thought my departure should be a little bit sort of monumental.
True. Your first radio station, what was it called?
Radio East in Gibraltar.
Radio East in Gibraltar, and that was a rediffusion system?
Yes, it was a rediffusion system. It was sponsored by Nuffield. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Nuffield Trust.
The foundation,
but yes, they sort of provide facilities for servicemen within the forces who sort of, I don't know, it's more or less of a hobby thing. And they supplied the building and put in all the cabling to all the single accommodation and all the married quarters. Luckily enough, in that situation at RAF North Front, for anyone who knows Gibraltar, the married accommodation is all together in blocks of flats, and every single...
mixed?
The married accommodation, yes, yes. All the married accommodation was all together in blocks of flats, and every single flat had its own loudspeaker, which didn't cost them anything at all, and they could listen to BFBS during the day, same as we listen to LAR during the day when we're not actually broadcasting locally. And then at 7:30 in the evening, a little voice would pop up and say, "Hello, this is Radio East."
I see. And what kind of program did you put on there?
Well, it's always been roughly the same. I started off on a Monday night at 10 o'clock with a thing called Late Night Pop, which used to go through from 10 o'clock until midnight. And then very shortly after that, I started doing a twin spin with a lady called Sharon Bennett, which ended up us getting married, in fact, after that.
By the way, he's married every one of them so far.
we ended up getting married after the twin spin that we used to do on Monday nights. And then Radio East and I had a slight disagreement. And I toddled off to BFBS for a little while, and then went back to Radio East and did BFBS and Radio East at the same time.
Stop there a minute, Glen. We do say this a lot of times. We say BFPS. We're always talking about our...
And people don't know what we're talking about.
Exactly.
BFBS is CFN for the British people. It stands for the British Forces Broadcasting Service. It's a very professional organisation. I stick my neck on the block. It's a little bit more professional than CFN even. And, well, it is a little bit more. Maybe professional is the wrong word. They have far more facilities.
We're more friendly, aren't we?
We are. We're much more intimate than BFBS. In BFBS, you don't go in, as I'm dressed today, with a jumper and T-shirt on. You sort of have to dress properly and things.
Like you moved on, of course, from Gibraltar, and that's a question that's been asked to me about you by a lot of people in the community. And they say, especially those who are obviously not absent or military orientated, why do you have to move, they say?
Well, I'm a member of the Royal Air Force. My real trade, I can reveal all now, can't I?
No, not too much.
My real trade is electronics. I work in electronic communications for the Royal Air Force.
He works in electronics. Then?
Yes, I work in electronics for the Royal Air Force. At the moment, I work on a radio relay station, somewhere hidden in Belgium, and no more can I say about that. I haven't been there for about a month now, what with one thing and another. So 3 years is up, and with the Air Force, when 3 years is up, you have to go home.
Oh, you asked also from Nuffield Foundation to bring you back?
Yes, could ask them, couldn't I? Or even CFM maybe, I don't know.
Yes. Right, and so from Radio East and BFPS, how did you come in? Did you come directly from Gibraltar to here?
No, I went back to Bedford, in fact. A fair town. It's not a city, it's a fair town of Bedford. And for about a year, 18 months I think it was, sort of kicked around and was very unenergetic and things, and didn't have anything to do, no discos to work on, very down in the dumps. And then a gentleman who was the station manager of a radio station, a hospital radio broadcasting station down in Bedford, approached me, and he'd heard somehow that I'd worked for BFBS and offered me a job. And then I started working on Saturday afternoons for Hospital Radio Bedford. Must point out that after I rejoined Radio East in Gibraltar and was working for BFBS at the same time, I was presenting a programme on Saturday afternoons, and it's always been the way. It's always been Saturday afternoons for me for some unknown reason.
You couldn't afford to buy any more jingles, could you?
That's right, no. All the jingles say Saturday afternoon with Glen Mansel, so that's the way it's had to be, I suppose, yes.
And how many hours a week did you average? Just Saturday afternoons? Or would you come in
yes,
during...
on HRB, on Hospital Radio Bedford, it was solely Saturday afternoons, but it was a long programme because we had a funny situation there where every other week we would carry live football commentary of Bedford Eagles. Now, there is a football team in Bedford, in fact, even though they're not in any of the major leagues. And so every other week we would carry about 3 hours of football commentary. But that means the week that was left, I had to broadcast music. So I ended up presenting music every other week for about 5 hours on Saturday afternoon, which really is quite a strain.
It's a marathon, yeah.
But obviously the following week it was far easier.
Mm-hmm. Right, we're going to have a break there and play you one of your favourite tunes from Holland.
The electronic.
Anything's going to remind Glen of Holland, it'll be the film and also this music. But we've got to go on. You're listening to the Canadian Forces Network, Brunsum 103.4. It's Time Out, and Roger B. interviewing Glen Mansel. Glen, we moved on from Radio Bedford and on, presumably, just a little bit of celebration.
Yes,
we moved on to where? To here?
From Hospital Radio Bedford, yes, to headquarters Afsend. Although sort of Afsend is in Brunsum, I actually used to live in Maastricht. I say used to because I've now moved. Mm-hmm. Yes, and I was here for about a year or so before Hospital Radio, before the Canadian Forces Network Brunsum.
It's a bit like a hospital radio.
Yes, it's not far different, is it? Before this wonderful thing that we work on started up, which was in about December of 1979. Although I didn't actually hear about the station and get a job until about February time.
And it started in?
This November or December, CFN, in fact.
Because, you know, all the time I've been here, obviously, and the rest of us, we've always looked upon, and you are, in fact, we're one of the prime movers, in fact, a founder member of CFNB.
That's not quite true, in fact, because I wasn't here at the beginning of the programming. There's only 2 originals remain now, and that's Paula Saboscabada and Chalky White, in fact. I don't know, people refer to me as an original, but I'm not really.
You must have been the worker.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm embarrassing him and laugh.
I don't know. Well, I think CFNB for a long, long time, sort of in the early months, worked together as a team. It was very, very difficult because we didn't get the help at that time that we should have done from the military people. They did seem to come round towards us in the end, but it was very difficult at the beginning.
When you started in CFNB, did you always start on the Saturday afternoon show?
Well, no, in fact, for those of you who remember Uncle Andy and I worked out a little deal. I, in fact, took over from a gentleman called Nick Herbert. Don't know if anyone remembers him. Anyway, Nick Herbert used to present on Saturday afternoons, and he was sort of... what time was he on? He was on from 3 o'clock until 6, I think. And Uncle Andy used to be on before that, or the other way around. No, I've got it wrong. It's the other way around. He used to be on from 1 until 3, and Uncle Andy used to come on from 3 until 6. Now, he was leaving, and there was about a couple of weeks gap before Uncle Andy was changing, so for about 2 weeks I presented it from 3 until 6.
And then Uncle Andy suddenly changed around, and then I was then presenting it from 1 until 3. That's not right, is it? I've said it wrong somewhere.
It doesn't matter.
Whatever. Anyway, for a long time it was me at 1 o'clock, well, 1:15 until 3:30, and then it was Uncle Andy with his, oh, good afternoon.
It's a lovely day in the Netherlands.
It never was, though. That was always the problem with Andy.
Yes, so there's more water under the bridge, so to speak, with Andy away.
He's in Kansas. I shall be seeing him in the summer sometime.
You're going to go and have a...
Oh, yes, I shall definitely go and see Uncle Andy. He's offered me a job.
Oh.
He said I can sweep out his recording studio anytime I want.
Okay, and from those early days, that obviously then you took over the Top 20 show as well, yeah?
Well, there was no Top 20 show. In fact, I'm quite proud of the fact that I inaugurated the Top 20 show. There was no, in fact, up until January of last year, this is the first full, complete year that we've ever had a Top 20 on CFN. In fact, the Top 20 show started on, it was the 17th of January last year.
Yeah.
Which was very needed at that time.
True, that was true, yes, there was a big gap there in our chart, so to speak. We were borrowing one at the time, weren't we?
Yes.
From CFNB and back to England, where are you going to?
I'm going to a lovely place, they tell me. It's called Bath, which is sort of near Bristol. I shall be back there.
And for broadcasting?
I don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see about that. There is a local station which is quite close called Radio West. Now, people may be familiar with that, in fact, because there is a television program which is called Shoestring. And there really is a Radio West. I don't think there's an Eddie Shoestring, or Bootlace, whatever his name is, but there certainly is a Radio West.
Do you fancy yourselves Eddie Shoestring?
Well, actually, I wouldn't mind. It's the getting beaten up bit every week that worries me, actually.
Paul Mr. Boskabat does that to you every weekend already.
That's true, isn't it? Maybe I could succeed as an Eddie Bootlace. Yes, Glen the Plimsoll, I think I call myself.
What do you think you'll miss most of all, besides me?
What will I miss? Well, it certainly won't be the companionship of CFNB, because there is very little at the moment. I don't know, what will I miss the most? The feeling of being wanted, I suppose.
True.
I mean, you are expected to come into this studio on a Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock and Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock and Wednesdays at 7:30. And that sort of gives you something to base your week on. Now, I've been a shift worker, which means I don't work regular hours for the last 3 years. And without that, you sort of lose all track. You know, you wake up in the morning and say, heaven's sake, what day is it? You know, you don't know. You've got no bearings at all. So probably that's what I will miss the most, the being wanted.
And I think, do you think I suppose that there's a lot of people out there that I think will miss you very, very much. And,
well, I hope so. I hope so.
Without any doubt. I'm sure there's a few tears being shed around Limburg.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe people will miss me. I'm quite sure they will, for a week or so. Until Chalky gets in the chair, and I'm sure Chalky is going to do an excellent job with Saturday Afternoon. He's got a great sense of humour, he's got a fabulous way of presenting records, and I think he will take over more than adequately.
What a trooper you are, sir.
Well, it's the truth. People get used to you. They get into a habit of listening to CFNB on Saturday afternoons or Sunday mornings. But I think someone else can do the job equally well. The thing I will miss the most, of course, is always on Sunday.
Yeah, that was being your kind of, your tops of the week.
Yeah, although I started on a Saturday afternoon and always on Sunday didn't start until a little bit after. Sunday morning has always been my, I don't know what's the word, my forte.
Your forte?
Yes, my forte. Because the things I've got away with on Sunday mornings are absolutely unbelievable. I've been rude about people, I've insulted people, almost to the point of being obscene at points, but always got away with it just. And I shall miss that because there is a great deal of fun to be had in that sort of broadcasting.
You didn't really have, well, you knew some of the people down at La, you know some of the people down there.
Well, I've met one gentleman. No, I tell a lie. I've met 3 gentlemen from CFN La: Bill Peterson, the boss, Mr. Marion, and the engineer.
Yeah. But you obviously have kind of a repartee which you've built up over the years with them as well, yeah?
Well, yes. I know Doug Aldrich. I know Mark Montgomery from Voices on the Telephone. I always ring up and say it's Glen from CFN. I say, hi, how are you, and all this business. But unfortunately, there is one lady. When we first started on CFN, and when I first started, I should say, there was a lady who used to read the news on every other week on Saturday afternoons at 1:15. And every Saturday afternoon at 1:15, I used to come on and say, see you around the back of the nappy tonight at 7:30. And she never heard it. So I was always very disappointed about that. But she was apparently, I hear from Bill Peterson, who came to visit us one time, that she's a very lovely lady and she would have appreciated that as well. So,
Tell me just in the final phases of our interview that your record collection, you must have built up a fantastic record collection over the years.
and spent a lot of money, yes.
Because most of the, I would like to just say one thing, that most of the records which we have had to get over the first part of the year in CFNB anyway, has been mainly from our own resources, but gradually we're getting some, we have a lot of our records in the library now, but Glen in particular kept to his own. He had his own way of doing things, and he had built up a fantastic record collection. How many records have you got now, singles?
Oh, singles, I should imagine over 2,000 singles.
Good grief.
Over 2,000. And when I came out here, I had about 80. So I spent quite a bit of money on records. LPs I haven't bought an awful lot because mainly I've kept up with singles for the disco.
Any particular discos that you like to kind of retread some steps on? Anyone you can remember that you particularly enjoy?
Well, actually, I'm rather pleased. Just before I had to go home to the UK before Christmas, I had 3 discos in a row. I had the UK DSU Christmas Ball, and then the ASG Support group disco on a Saturday night, and on a Sunday night I did the ACS, the Naffy Shop disco. And although each of them were equally good within its own confines, the Naffy do on the Sunday night was so intimate and so altogether it was absolutely great. And we even, to the point we had a stripper. One that we played the stripper, the piece of music, the stripper, and we had a lady come out, and unfortunately the music ended at the wrong moment because she just didn't have time to finish. But it really was. It was great because everyone joined in and we had such a party atmosphere.
That's good.
It really was great.
That's good.
So that was really a nice end to discos for me.
Right. We're going to miss you very, very much, Glen, and I would like to take my personal time out for my personal thanks to you for all the help you've given me over the years and indications and kicks, and especially, I think, in the early days when you used to come in here and say, your levels, put your levels down. I don't know if I've improved or not, but, you know, I must thank you very much for your help. And now, of course, your favourite record.
Thank you. Do you want me to introduce it? And why? Well, I don't really know why. If anyone knows Harry Chapin, who died, I think, about 6 to 9 months ago, in fact, Harry Chapin released an LP, which I spent about 4 years trying to get hold of. Eventually, I did get hold of it. He released an LP called Short Stories, in which each of the tracks were a true story set to music. And it's a story of a DJ who decides he wants to hit the big time and falling by the wayside of his wife and children. And it's rather unfortunate because a little bit too late he suddenly realizes that DJing is not everything he wants. He would like to have his wife and children as well, and this is what the song's all about.
I suppose really you must be missing your lady at the moment.
At the moment, yes. I shall be quite happy to get back to the UK.
Yes. Glen Mansel, disc jockey and broadcaster extraordinaire, thank you very much, and our thanks from CFNB.
Thank you, Roger.
Remember how we listened to the radio, and I said that's the place to be. And now I got the job as an FM jock the day you married me. It was 2 kids and I was into AM rock, but I just had to run around. It's been 8 years since I left you, babe. Let me tell you about what's gone down. I am a morning DJ at WOLBD, playing all the hits for you, wherever you may be. The bright good morning boys who've heard but never seen, feeling all the 45, going on 15. The drinking I did on my last big gig, it made my voice go low.